Hi, this is Matt Renna again, and we're working on Module 3, which is splitting data. So what you're looking at here on the spreadsheet is some data field, some cells that have, in this case, it's last name, comma, first name. I have a couple of football players' names here, and what we want to do is sort of the reverse of what we did in Module 2, which is splitting up combining the data. Now we're going to learn how to split up the data when it's in one cell and we want it to become in multiple cells. In this case, we'll keep it simple for the example and do just one cell to two. And what we want our output to look like here is in cell B3, we want the last name, like Brady, and then in cell C3, we want Tom. Okay, so the first step is to highlight the fields that you want to split. All right, we're going to go up here and we're going to go to Data and select Text to Columns. We're going to click on that. It's going to open up a wizard, and you have some options. You have delimited, and then you had fixed width. Okay, so delimited means you're going to split the data using some sort of identifier, such as a comma or a tab. We're going to choose that one first, and I'll show you fixed width in a moment. So let's leave it on delimited. We'll hit next. Now it's going to ask you, so what is the item that is separating the data, the key identifier that's sort of separating the data that you have in one cell? And in this case, it's a comma. Okay. Now, you can simply select comma, and you can see as you look right here that it will start to show you what your output's going to look like. And so far, that looks pretty good, except for one thing. There's a space there. Okay, and that's a problem because what's going to happen is this cell, this field, will have a starting space and then the data. That's not what we want. So what we're going to do is we'll make sure that both comma and space are selected, and you can see that it got rid of the space. Okay, this is selected where it says treat consecutive delimiters as one, which basically says these are not its own independent items. We're saying both for a comma and a space. We want that to be our delimiter. Okay, then you hit next. Generally, you don't have to touch much of this. I don't tend to touch any of this, so sometimes you can change the data formatting, but I would say 99 times out of 100 I don't use this, so I'm going to skip over it. When you hit finish, you can see the data has now been split up into two columns. So that worked out pretty well. Now let's go to the next tab here. I'm going to highlight my data here. I'm going to go back to Data, Text to Columns, and now I'm going to select Fixed Width and hit Next. Alright, so now what Fixed Width allows you to do is, if you can notice, it automatically converts the text to a Courier font, which is an equidistant, equi-spaced font. You can see everything lines up perfectly, whereas in here, everything does not line up perfectly. And the reason for that is the way this splits the data up by characters. So I can click on where I want the data to be split up. So let's say I want to split up the data with 3 characters, then 2 characters, and then finally, if I don't do anything, it'll be left with the last one, but I can put one in also right there, and you can see how I can drag them and change the width. Okay, then I'll hit next, again finish, and you can see it breaks up the data in that fashion. Now, why would you need to use that versus the delimited? Here's an example here where I set it up where you may want to get rid of the Mr. Okay, so we go to Text to Columns. We're going to hit Fixed. Okay, and then you can see that we want to cut that out, right, eliminating the Mr. and you hit Finish, and now you've gotten rid of the Mr. there. Okay, so that's one example, or another example of how you'd want to, how you could use that feature to split up data.